approve. Folks, you're going to need out your pencil, the homework that you did for today, pages 18 and 19, and your calculator. Let's take out your homework, pages 18 and 19 in the packet, along with your calculator. Good, thank you. All right, let's go over it. Let's check your answers and your work, because you would be graded on all of your work on this on a test. So number 2A, you should have selected time as the independent variable. 2B, the position is the dependent variable. Part C, the shape is a diagonal line. Both words are necessary. Letter D, the relationship is indirect. Letter E, your slope calculation. You have to show me the 2 points you're using. I instructed you to use the 2 furthest points you can. The further apart, the better. This is point 1. That is point 2, which means that the coordinates of point 1 would be 0 seconds, 1,400 meters. You do have to show me the units after each of those numbers. If you just said 0, 1,400, that would be marked wrong, and you would not get credit for calculating the slope. The second point is 5 seconds, 100 meters. Unknown is the slope. Now you write your slope equation from our reference table. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're now going to plug in those values. So the slope is 100 meters minus 1,400 meters, all over 5 seconds minus 0 seconds. Like I showed you yesterday, you're now going to subtract, keeping the precision, negative 1,300 meters over 5 seconds. You now divide it out, getting an answer with proper units and sig figs. And this answer will have only one sig fig because of the 5 seconds in the denominator, which gives us an answer of negative 300 m over s. Lastly, I want you to write the equation specific to this graph. You should have started with y equals mx plus b, and then you're going to change everything out. So the y variable is position. The m is negative 300 m over s. X is time plus 1,400 meters, which was the y-intercept, and that is the equation you should have written for this graph. Any questions on page 18? Yes. What, you got negative 260? Yes, but that doesn't have correct significant figures. Okay. Shane? Yeah, you can use whatever 2 points you want, but it is always best to use the furthest points you can away from one another. The further apart they are, the better, more precise, or more accurate your answer will be. Okay? But yeah, it really doesn't matter which two, but you get better answers when they are far apart. So since these 2 points were easily found, why not use them, starting and ending? Yep. No. Well, horizontal line, just lines. Only lines. You can't find slopes of curves. Doesn't exist. That doesn't happen at all. Okay. Number 3 we did together. So number 4, you should have said that time is your independent variable. Distance is the dependent one. This shape you should have said was a hyperbola. And the relationship you should have indicated was inverse. Any questions? Yes, Dan. Yeah, that's the only relationship that exists with a hyperbola. Just like with a parabola, the only relationship that exists is quadratic. And once it's a curve, there's nothing else for you to do. Anything else? Okay, today's quiz is on your Chromebook. You may use your homework. You will need your calculator. Use this homework as scrap paper, and you can look things up on the homework to help you. But go ahead and let's take your quiz now for Unit 1H. There are 3 questions for you to complete on your Chromebook. Good luck. Why don't you sit next to Shane? When you've completed the quiz, just close your Chromebook screen a little bit. Don't put your Chromebook away. You'll be using it for the rest of our activities today. No, we're not talking while people are taking a quiz. He's still taking a quiz. He's got his Chromebook open. No. Nope. Jalila, you're going to need to stay there because the rest of our activities are on the Chromebook today. So Shane, make sure she's got enough room to sit and work there, okay? You're both done? Nikki, are you still working on the quiz? You're done. Okay. Could everyone please then, in your Google Classroom, let's go back to that. And I'd like you to open up that file from yesterday that we were working on, the graphs and Google Sheets file. Can you go ahead and open that up, please? Today we're going to do a little bit more with that. So yesterday we learned how to make the graphs at the end of class, right, in the Google Sheet. Yes? Okay. Now what we have to do is learn how to do all that in graphical interpretation stuff we learned how to do by hand in the Google Sheet. And what's really cool is that you don't need a calculator for any of what we're going to do. So could you please put your calculators away at this moment, because I want to make sure you are not trying to do things manually. I want to see everybody's calculator put away off your desk. All you need right now is your Chromebook. I don't want you to try to write things out or work things or force things. Google Sheets is going to do everything for you automatically that we're going to look at. You just have to know where to find the things that we need, okay? So if we are looking at the file we were working on yesterday, this is the file. Remember, it has 4 tabs at the bottom. And what I'd like us to do, I'm going to get rid of that so it's a little bit bigger on the screen. You'll see here, let's look at the practice problem tab. You'll see here on the bottom left that I'm now asking you for some additional information. And these are the things that we're going to learn how to do today. We'll have to be able to identify the shape of the graph, the relationship that's shown on the graph, the slope, the y-intercept, and write the equation for the graph. Google Sheets does most of this for you. But we need to add one thing to each graph. Let me show you what we're going to add first. We're going to make a change. Why are we jumping ahead? We shouldn't be typing a darn thing yet. I haven't shown you what to do yet. Please double click on the elongation versus force graph. And when you double click on it, you get your chart editor. Okay, right with me? Please jump down to the series submenu, expand it. And if you recall yesterday, we were able to add the equation by selecting the trend line and the type that matched, whether it was a line or a curve. Remember, if it's a curve, what type of trend line are we going to select? Power series. Those are your only options. Now, we want Google Sheets to give us the slope, the y-intercept, and the equation for our graph. And it will do that for us automatically if we change the label on our graph. Right now, it says none, correct? Okay, click your down arrow. And you're going to see that there are 3 options for equations. Please select use equation. You'll see then at that point, your graph gets modified. Make this a little bigger. And when you modify it, you click off your graph, you'll see that there is a partial equation here. It's a partial equation, not a full equation. But it's giving us a value in front of the variable x, which when we know the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, it's leaving off the y equals, but it's giving you the x plus and then some number. So the number in front of the x that we see is the slope of the graph. You don't have to calculate it. It just did it for you. And it's also giving you the y-intercept for your graph. It's at the end of the partial equation. Do you see that? Our job is to modify things so that way it looks like what we need with variable names, signs, and units here. Okay? So follow along with me. I'm going to do the first one with you, and then I'm going to ask you to help me with the other 3. So first off, what is the shape of this graph? After yesterday's lesson, you would tell me it is a diagonal line. You need both words. If you just said diagonal, it would be marked wrong. Likewise, if you just said line, I'm going to mark that wrong too. It's not specific enough. There's a couple different types of lines we have. What's the relationship on this graph? Direct. Let's go ahead and type that in. Okay, let's now talk about the slope. Unfortunately, if we just start typing in numbers with a plus or minus in front of it, Google Sheets interprets that as a formula. And it's going to give you an error after you hit enter. So in order to type this in, you're going to start with a left parenthesis. Can you see that on the screen? There's a left parenthesis there. Let me see if I can make this even a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. Okay. You see that left parenthesis? Start with that. And then after your left parenthesis, you have to tell me whether this slope is positive or negative. What is it? Okay, so put your positive sign. Remember, you have to explicitly tell me whether the slope is positive or negative. Now you're going to take the value that the Google Sheet equation gave you, which was 1.5. We'll put a space, and now we have to put the units. And when we calculate the slope, remember, it's going to have units of the y-axis over units of the x-axis. So our y-axis had units of cm, so we put cm, slash, and then we put the units that are on the x-axis, which are capital N. If you put a lowercase n, that's wrong. Lowercase n stands for something else. Now we hit enter, and it saves our slope. Y'all have that with me? Okay, now we're going to look at the equation that the Google Sheet gave us to determine what the y-intercept is. And remember, the y-intercept is after the plus sign. Did you get a value of 0 as well? Okay, but it's 0 what? 0 cm. It is a y coordinate. So we're going to add the units after that 0 when we type our y-intercept in cell B15. So we're going to put 0 cm there for our y-intercept. All right, now we have to write our equation. Remember, we're not going to write y equals mx plus b, and we're not just going to copy what's on the Google Sheet equation exactly. We have to modify it. What variable's on the y-axis of this graph? Elongation. So we're going to start by typing elongation equals. Now we're going to put our slope, again in parentheses, positive 1.5 cm over n. X variable we can see is the word force, so we put the word force there, plus, and then we add our y-intercept, 0 cm. Now we hit enter, and there it is. Now I have one other little problem. My graph is covering up that equation, so I'm going to drag and drop it over a little bit to the right so that way it doesn't cover it up. But that's my equation. Did I have to do any calculations manually? No, it did the whole thing for you pretty much. You just have to know how to adjust what it gave you so it looks like what we need. You understand? All right, let's try problem 1 together. Okay, so this is our graph. Let me make this a little bit smaller. First thing you have to do is double click on your graph. Go to your customize option, down to the series submenu and add the equation, which is under the label. Use equation. This is a type of curve. Name the shape of that curve for me. Hyperbola, Hyperbola, in cell B13. Okay, what's the relationship between these variables? Inverse. Now, because this is a curve, does it have a slope? So we're going to say NA. That's not applicable. Slopes are only applicable to lines. This is not a line, so we write NA. Y-intercept, again, is only applicable if you have a line. So what am I going to put there for the y-intercept? NA. And I will not ask you to write the equation for this graph because it's not a line. So what are we going to put? NA. See, when it's a curve, it's really easy. Can we look at number 2? Go for it. Let's go to problem 2. First thing you do is add the equation to your graph. Remember, that's under the series submenu. Change the label from none to use equation. Now, what is the shape of this graph? Parabola, Parabola, in cell B12. What's the relationship between these variables? Quadratic. Slope. So what do I write? NA. Y-intercept? NA. Equation? NA. Am I going too fast? No? We all have it? Okay. Can I go on to problem 3? All right. Double click on the graph. Add the equation. You remember where it is? We should all get the same equation shown to us. Okay. Shape. Good. Diagonal line. Relationship. This one is direct. Okay. Slope. Who wants to do that one for me? It's not NA because it is a line. What is the slope of this graph according to Google Sheets? Shane? Okay, now we have to modify it, right? So we're going to add our left parenthesis. Is it positive or negative? So we'll put the positive sign after the parenthesis. Then we'll put our 20.9. And now you have to give me the units. Anyone want to guess what those units are? Not meter per second. It is a meter per second. Per second. The Y is meter per second. The X is seconds. So you have to do meter per second, or M/S/S, and then close it with the right parenthesis so it doesn't yell at you. Okay, how about the y-intercept? Get it from the equation. Nathan, can you help me with that y-intercept? And the unit? Excellent, M/S. I know it looks like it's exactly 0, but based on the equation, you can tell it is not exactly 0. So that's why we have to use the value it gives us. All right, now we got to write the equation for this thing. Anybody want to start me off? What am I going to start with? What word? Speed. Speed equals. Now I'm going to put the slope value in parentheses. Parentheses positive 20.9 M/S/S. Close the parenthesis. What am I going to put there instead of X? Time, because that's on the x-axis, plus 0.0476 M/S, the y-intercept. Did I lose anybody with this? Do you? Yes.
My equation just looks different.
It shouldn't. It should be exactly the same. Because we all have the same data. Oh, you do not have the right to curve. You did not check. We never use polynomials. There's only 2 types of trend lines we can select. Remember what they are? Polynomial is not one of them. Okay, double click on your graph. You got to edit the graph. Sure, that's why you're going to know that. So go back to the series submenu and change the type of trend line. It's either linear or power series, but if it looks like a line, you should select a line. And now it's add your equation again. Did it update it? Yes, it did. Now you get the exact same thing. Okay, everybody good with that? Make sure you hit enter after you type the equation so it saves it. If you forget to hit enter, you close the file out, you open it back up, it won't be there. It doesn't save it. It's not like a Google Doc that everything you type, it automatically saves. So my graph is covering the equation, so I have to move it. Do you have to move yours too? Drag and drop it off to the side so you're not covering anything up. Now, I am not going to check this, so you do not need to turn it in. You're not turning it in. I'm not looking at it. We did this so you have it as a resource to now use whenever you're making a graph in Google Sheets and I ask you things. You can now look, what did I do? What settings did I have? Do my graphs look like that graph? When I ask you questions, you can look at the answers to the questions we have there so you know what to do. It's basically notes, and that's why we did it together. If it were an assignment, I wouldn't be doing it with you. Do you follow? You would have to now figure it out, some of it on your own. Make sense? Okay. So now what we're going to do, come back to the Google Classroom. You can close that file out if it's all done. Again, you don't need to turn it in. You could turn it in if you want. I'm not looking at it. So if you want to get it off your to-do list, fine. I'm just not going to look at it. The rest of our class today is for you to begin getting ready for next week's test, which is a week from yesterday. So in your packet, at the end of your Unit 1 packet, you will see that there are several pages, pages 21 to 24, which are a review assignment. To do this assignment, you do not need a Chromebook. So I'm going to ask that you all put your Chromebooks away. You should probably take out your notebook, your reference table, a ruler, and a calculator to help you work on these questions. I want to give you class time now to work on the review assignment, as I will not be giving you any additional class time to work on it. This review assignment is due Tuesday next week. We'll go over it. I'll take questions, and then Wednesday you will have a test on all of this material. Pages 21 to 24 in your packet. Okay? Questions for me? All right, I'm going to let you guys work then. If you get stuck with something, feel free to come on.